And I don't know why, but since last 4 conferences, I'm always getting a slot right after the lunch. So it's a very, very tough place to be in because many people are just enjoying their lunch, talking with their friends. So it's always, there is another work slot which we got recently in IM Indore, which was the last talk, and people were like, oh, tired ho gaya subah se sun ke AI. So what I did was, usually I do that when I take talks in the evening. I just told, can you just stand up and then raise your hands and then clap so that everybody gets excited. So after lunch you don't need to do that because you are just come in. So so today I'm not talking about the health. I'm a doctor, orthopedic surgeon by training. I worked in Bangalore a long time before I went to US. I was heading all the 46 hospitals here. I didn't treat patients, I was managing their hospitals, so people would not have seen me. But I came back to Bangalore again in 2022. So right after the COVID. What brought me back here is the story of Hanooman, why we built Hanooman, and why we call it Built in India for the World. So since last 4 years, we are working on our other company. It's a health tech company called Visi, so based out of Boston. So when what we do there is we generate a lot of data for each person. So we do something called multi-omics, which generates about 250 GB data for one person. It comes in various formats. And we're really struggling with integrating all that data, making sense out of it. That's when we came across something called transformers, which we thought would be a good technology to like something use for our use case. It really worked well, especially for the missing values. That's when I got very excited about this. This was pre-ChatGPT world. Nobody knew what is generative AI, so we were calling it as transformers. Suddenly, ChatGPT happens and transformers are all the world. It becomes the most popular thing. Then I said, which company is going to build foundational models for India? And nothing was happening at that time, 2 years back. So we said, okay, I came back to India, worked with a lot of elite institutions, IITs and all. So what I saw was something very astounding. So this is the ranking of India when it comes to Gen AI. India is ranked 14. And a tiny Singapore is ranked number 3. So I was in Singapore last week. We have a company there, so I work a lot there. Just 57 lakhs people, 1/3 of what Bangalore has, and they're ranked 3. And India with 1.4 billion people, and highest number of perhaps the engineers in the world, were ranked 14. So we were really surprised, like why we're ranked so low. We should be around 3rd, because China and US do great, but like why we are even ranked low. So this is what happens with India. We have, if you see talent, 86.2, second best after US. And then operating environment is also great because we are in Bangalore, the best operating environment after Silicon Valley. But if you see the bottom part, that's where we lose all the ranking. Research, just 12%. Potential of commercialization, just 8.9%. That's where China really scores very well. And then the infrastructure and development. The great thing that's happened in last 1 year after this came is infrastructure is really developed. I don't know if you could hear what Sunil Gupta had to speak. He's one of the pioneers in bringing a lot of infrastructure, but still R&D and commercial potential are 3 things which have to be addressed. R&D, government has announced a lot of things like 100,000 crores for R&D and all that, but we said, how will R&D happen if nobody is building models, right? If we're using wrappers, applications, doing only the superficial stuff, how is R&D going to help? We need to build our own models. That's when we said, let's build India's foundational model, and then we started. At that time, the biggest problem was
We didn't have H100s. India didn't have H100s. Nobody had H100s. And the waiting period for a H100 was 52 weeks. So I went to NVIDIA and then asked them, they said, like, who is going to send H100s? It's all booked. So 52 weeks was the time given, and we could not have waited for 52 weeks. We got our H100 somehow from Taiwan, and we started the work. Currently, H100s is not the problem. Like, India has now thousands of H100s which have come in 1 year. It's really done very well. But another problem we faced was a lot of engineers come out of India, and then there is another place where 85% of the people can't speak in English. Most of the technology we do is mostly in English, right? So that doesn't address the problem of 85% of the people who don't use English, are not very well versed in English. There's more than 100 crore people in India where technology has not really reached. So that's where we feel that there is huge commercial potential. When you see that 8.9%, which is very high in China, because China has only one language, where their own one language model works for all Chinese people, whether it is in the rural folks or in people in Shenzhen. But in India, our English models only work in Bangalore, Hyderabad, but do they work in tier 2, tier 3 cities? So that's a big challenge. And most of the generative AI models are made in English, and we use translation engines or something to work in other languages, but if you see, the quality is not that great because they're not built in that languages. So that's another big problem which was there if you had to build something for India. How do we build for so many languages? It's not like Arabs building in Arabic, just one language they have to solve, or Turks building for Turkish. We have to solve for at least 22 languages. So that was the problem, another problem. So two problems. One was, how do we reach these people? The other one was, how do we build this? This is a very interesting thing which I always quote, so whichever place I go to. So Boston with 6 lakhs population has a GDP of 600 billion, and Bangalore with 1.36. Perhaps we have the highest per capita, or second highest in India, but still we have lesser GDP than Boston, which is just 6 lakhs people. And if you see Karnataka and Korea, which gel together because they both start in K, so Karnataka's GDP is very less. So we feel generative AI can really leapfrog India into that high productivity because of two things. One, it removes the barrier for using technology for everyone. All these years we had to use keypads or mobile or laptop to use generative AI or any technology. Generative AI can just remove all that barriers. You can just talk into our technology. You don't need anything as an interface. I can talk in my own language. Even if I can't type, I can work with a picture, I can work with a video. Virtually, it removes the barrier. So these are the two things which really showed that building a multilingual, multimodal model would surely work for India. So that's what Hanooman is. So we are India's first multilingual, multimodal model. So we'll be releasing the model around October first week. So this talk exactly falls a week before our live. So we started working on 22 Indian languages. Now it works in 100 global languages. We are taking it to the world. So it's been built from scratch in India. We've not used any model to train this. We have built it from scratch, and it works in virtually 100 languages. And we have already done, I will show the use cases which we have done using this, because our journey didn't stop here. So once we built the model, we found that model is not going to solve anybody's problem. It's just one of the tool. I come from healthcare background, and we find a lot of tools which people don't go. You always go to the hospital if you have a problem, right? You don't use an app or you don't use any technology, you directly go to the hospital because hospital provides solution. Whether it is a great solution, it's debatable, but a hospital takes a responsibility, it gives the complete solution when you have healthcare problems, so you go to the hospital. So that's where all the value of healthcare goes. Not with any health tech company or pharma company or anywhere. It's always the hospitals which capture the highest value in healthcare. So the same thing we applied. We said, okay, I built a model. There were like, if you go to Hugging Face, there are 40,000 models, I think. And every day somebody is building a model. Is it really going to help? Like, how would somebody use my model? Like, is it even helpful if you just build a model, release it, or release something like a chatbot, which a lot of companies have done. Running those chatbots is super expensive for a startup like us. My biggest model, which is about 660 billion parameter, needs 80 GPUs to just keep running. Even if nobody is using it, just to keep it running, it's super expensive. You burn like GPUs like, fire. Like, it costs millions of dollars to just, that's why all the big companies who have built this kind of models have raised billions of dollars, and that much investment doesn't come to India. So and it's also not, it doesn't even work for Indian market, because if you raise a lot of money, then you have to price it higher, then the whole cost of generative AI is going to be very, very high. So how would any company use it and then build, applications or then roll it out? So we had to bring down the cost. So that's why we said, we go one step ahead and then create a solution for generative. Like, a company wants to use it, a person wants to use it, or a startup wants to use it. Can we give a whole solution where they can just go and deploy this, create applications? That's when the next phase of Hanooman came. So this is just about our model. So the good thing about Hanooman, I have to tell here, all the language models which are built use mostly English as the interface, because there is one technical problem here. Like, there is huge data which is available in English. There are 30 trillion tokens at least available for English. You can build as big as a model as even a trillion token model, trillion parameter model. But when it comes to Indian languages, hardly any data is there. All the data I got when we sourced everything for Indian languages was about 200 billion tokens. So that's it for all the languages. It's so small, it's tiny. Like, you can't use the small tokens and then create a Telugu language model or a Kannada model or a Hindi model, because they will be just lost. So that's why mostly if you use English tokens, the cost of tokens, the million tokens is very less if you see compared to the other language tokens. So that's when we said we use something, a different approach. We'll not overwhelm our model with English, but build it with equal representation of other languages so that the token cost comes down. So if you want to launch an application in Kannada or Telugu or address people using other non-English languages, your token cost is less. So that's one technology which we are bringing for Hanooman. And this is where we went Hanooman 2.0. We launched Hanooman text-to-text model around March, April. That was only text-to-text. We were just testing the market to solve for model. Next is going to come Hanooman.ai Studio, where virtually we have built the whole strength of applications. So in the middle, if you see Hanooman, that's where our model is. We have built a lot of expert models which are like as small as 500 million for many applications, to our largest model, which is going to be B2C, where it's kind of multimodal ChatGPT model kind of thing. Where, but having said that, we needed much more than just the model. So on that will come the data sets which virtually work in 100 global languages, out of them 22 are Indian languages. And then we have created a studio which has 1 million specific workflows. So you want to create anything, I will show some examples how we do it. You want to create a fintech app, you want to create a healthcare agent, you want to create in any domain, virtually sector specific or work specific, you can just deploy them. And on top of that, you can create agents using virtually no code. Any of the people sitting in this room can use Hanooman.ai Studio and build an own agent for your sake, for your company's sake. We said agents are going to be the future, not the model, not just the prompt, because that's what will solve the problems. And not only just agents, you can use your APIs. Virtually you can integrate any APIs and build no-code applications. So that's where we felt like it's a complete solution from the compute layer to building a no-code applications. This is what Hanooman.ai Studio will be, which we are launching around October 3rd week. And second week we'll be launching Hanuman multimodal model. So this is our full stack offering which we are bringing to India. And we can say that, a lot of people have seen this and said that there is nothing like this which is coming in the market till next 1 year. So this is going to be something of a pioneer which we are really excited about. So Hanooman.ai Studio. This is how it looks. Virtually, if you see, you can build your app. There is something called Playground, where you can even build your own agents for your own personal use. So, and all this is going to be super economical, because virtually, except for the GPU cost, most of it would be kind of no cost thing. So your agents, when you build them and then launch them for your company or for your startup or your personal use, they will hardly cost anything except for the GPU cost. And virtually, we are not even limiting that. Any company or anyone who wants to use these models have to just use Hanuman's model. They can virtually deploy any LLM, from ChatGPT to all the top LLMs we have put. People can use it. You can also see like what it costs if you deploy ChatGPT there. Hanuman would obviously cost the cheapest per million tokens. Once we launch, you will see the numbers also. It's going to be very different cost. But still, we are not limiting anyone from using any other model. Virtually from Gemini model or any model, cloud, anything can be deployed in that and then built on that. But the Hanuman can also be used in that. So we don't want to limit anyone from. And another important thing is the compute. Virtually any compute, from like say inferencing compute, which is LPS 40 to H100s, anything can be deployed using this. So we have, so that's where the GPU pods come, where you can just deploy it and then build your model on that. So you can see the models here. Virtually we have put all the open source, closed source models which can be deployed using this. So this is one use case which I want to show like how it works. This is a real use case, but a demo version of it, which we have built for a company which virtually analyzes 1 million X-rays in a day in US. So it's a company which has highest repository of X-rays. So we have built it exclusive for them. And I'm going to just demo it, how it works. Oh, sorry. Sorry, there is some problem with my video. Yeah. Can you play the video? I'm going to just choose any random X-ray which is available to just show the capabilities. So I just Googled for X-rays in Google and then randomly pick a real X-ray. So you have to just, and then it creates the whole report which is used by radiologists now in US to just report that. So since AI can't report something in healthcare, so we always enable doctors to do that. But virtually whatever the work they do, which takes so much of time to report such a big, X-ray report, generate it, type it, edit it, send it, it can all be done seamlessly. So imagine the kind of exponential increase in the efficiency of a person. Radiologists cost some hundreds of dollars per hour. And today, if a radiologist is reporting 10 X-rays in an hour, they can do 100 with this. All they have to oversee that, if it is right or wrong, and then accept it, and then maybe do some minor tweaks. But virtually all this drudgery which was happening, typing reports, sending it, it's all done seamlessly. This has been trained on nearly 100 million X-rays. So people can use it. There are a lot of public databases which we have used, but a lot of hospitals are deploying it on-prem. where they are using and training it on their own model. So this is one extreme case where we built the whole thing using AI Studio. So we took a model, which is our image model, trained it with knowledge base of X-rays, and then created these templates on which it generates reports, and then tested it, and now like it's been commercially deployed in US. So you can see, and then this is very simple thing which we call it as Experience Hub, which is a great work in progress where we are working towards executable AI, where we say that, okay, if someone wants to book a ticket and make my trip, example, my mom has an iPhone, she can't book it because it takes so many steps to go and then do it. So how do we make it easy for her to do that? All she has to ask is, can I just book a ticket from Bangalore to Bombay, and then something should be able to do that. That's what we call as executable AI. And we are trying to work on that, where we can bring all the APIs and then try to make it run. So imagine a company which is launched like people can just book their tickets just by asking it. So that's the executive AI we are working on. So that's going to come maybe perhaps next year when we release the Hanooman.ai Studio 2.0. We are doing a lot of POCs on that, trying to bring in a lot of APIs. This is a great opportunity for many companies to even go to their offering it to the next level. These are all our knowledge partners which we work with in India, and these are some of the clients. We first wanted to launch in India, but ultimately we found that there is huge opportunity for the global scale. So we get a lot of interest from other countries, and we are working on it. And there was another video which was to be played. Yeah, you see the capabilities of our image model. Maybe we can take a picture and then ask the same prompt to ChatGPT and see what happens. We asked it for a realistic photo of a beautiful European girl, a painting and beautiful art, and 2 images of futuristic cars. It generates 4 images. All of you can check using the same prompt with any image engine, DALL-E or Gemini or anything. And see if they generate the same 4 images or what they do. It's an interesting thing. So this is one of the highest capable image processing models which we are bringing as part of Hanooman. So you can see that it creates 4 images with the same prompt. This is the kind of capabilities we will be launching next month. Yeah. So this is what the journey of Hanooman is, which we have built in India. So one of the first models, which is multimodal, multilingual, but not just we didn't stop with the model, but we have built a complete solution, and which we will be launching around next month. So it will be in the media. So, and I really thank the IIM for really supporting us from the day one, not just in this, but they have been always covering us a lot, and this has really helped me when I came back from India, because I don't come from tech background, so I'm very new to this industry, and I had to specially thank IIM for really supporting this initiative, because they felt somebody doing this for India, they have to support it. Thank you very much for your patience in listening. Thank you, IIM, for calling me here and giving me this opportunity.